South Korea's response to the trade tensions. Let's cross over to Jaesung Hong, an attorney and expert on trade law in Seoul. So, Mr. Hong, as we just reported, South Korea's economy is largely depending on exports. So, a big trading country usually worry about trade tensions around the world. How do you think the economy will be affected by America's protectionist impulses?
Well, as noted, the trade disputes between the two giants, China and US, can lead to threats to South Korea's economy in particular, in that the trading structure on which South Korea's economy is based is vulnerable to the decrease of China's exports to US. On top of that, South Korea may go through direct trade sanctions from the US, such as retaliating tariffs on its own products. In the end, measures putting restrictions on trade, such as tariffs and quantitative restrictions, will bring shrunk economy as a whole. Export-oriented economy like South Korea is likely to get affected more in a negative way than the direct parties involved in the trade disputes. Given the shrink size of the economy, South Korea could not have much discretion on its monetary policies as well, because of the fear of worsening the situation. So they are trying to make contingency plans to diversify global markets to mitigate undesirable impact of the disputes for now.
And not just South Korea, probably the entire East Asian economy will be affected because of the U.S.-China trade frictions. But the long-term impact, what would that be?
Well as South Korea, Japan, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, and many other Asian countries might get negative impact to some extent as a result of trade disputes between China and U.S. To minimize that kind of impact for now and the future, they will likely to develop diverse markets globally in the long term. This kind of risk should be hedged for the stable, prosperous economy, we can easily guess. So like investment with good portfolios, Asian governments will set up economic policies guiding their industry players to perform in various regions around the world, not relying heavily on China or US alone. If trade policies of big players like US, China, or EU are stable enough, that kind of efforts will form in different shapes. I think conforming to the established WTO regime will give a light to more stable trade practices in the future, which largely depends upon the consistency of big trade players like US and China.
Yes, indeed. And stability is something definitely everybody look forward to. Thank you so much, Mr. Hong, for your analysis.